Hey Chris, can I buy crypto out of my self-managed super fund?
If you want to buy crypto out of your self-managed super fund, that's certainly something you can do.
You just need to make sure when you are establishing the SMSF and you are setting up the account with the exchange that the name of the account is in the name of your SMSF.
I don't recall Australians ever being told at the last election that we were going to suddenly double immigration, actually triple immigration.
Cost of living is already expensive and housing is becoming more and more difficult for home ownership, and not just even home ownership, but even on the rental end.
People are relying upon negative gearing to reduce their tax, which is also good if you're just getting into property for the first time. However, as you become a more serious property investor, you find that you need to shift your focus to more positive gearing.
You don't just buy property for the tax benefits, you're buying it primarily for it to be making you money as opposed to just for the taxation benefits. Taxation benefits should be secondary to the primary benefit, which is the property actually making you money. Welcome to SMSF Insider, where we help busy professionals to gain financial independence using an SMSF. Hi, I'm Troy, founder of Blue Chip SMSF Services, and over the last 20 years, I've helped thousands of Aussies manage the complexities of self-managed super funds. And in this podcast, I'll answer your questions, break down the myths, so you can take charge of your financial freedom. Let's get into it. G'day guys, so welcome to this edition of SMSF Insider, where we'll be looking at some videos that have gone viral and checking out if they're true.
It's been revealed more Australians are working well into their 70s and 80s as retirement ages continue to rise. New data from KPMG shows the average expected age of retirement for men has climbed to 67.
Yeah, definitely we do see a lot of this where retirees are certainly working later into their 60s and even into their 70s as they potentially don't have enough, either cost of living has gone up so much, or potentially they don't have enough in retirement savings to actually retire. So that's what is, I guess, important to start investing sooner rather than later, so you don't get caught out at retirement age. A lot of these guys just can't afford to retire, so they are still working into, well into their 60s and 70s. So, yep, something we see quite a lot.
While for women, it is now around 65. Experts say the rise is driven by cost of living pressures and older Australians choosing to stay in the workforce longer.
So you don't become a statistic of working, longer than you want to, then probably the best thing to do is obviously max out your concessional contributions and even your non-concessional contributions, topping up your fund, sort of as soon as you can. The sooner you start maxing out those contributions, the better off you're going to be at the tail end and at retirement age. So speak to your advisor about maxing out those contributions so you don't become a statistic.
I don't recall Australians ever being told at the last election that we were going to suddenly double immigration, actually triple immigration from current levels of pre-election of around 200, 180,000 to around 550,000. And that is
certainly a bit of a hot topic around immigration policy, and we already have a bit of a housing crisis, so I can understand the frustration that people are having with regards to immigration policy. It is, potentially cost of living is already expensive, and housing is becoming more and more difficult for home ownership, and not just even home ownership, but even on the rental end. So I do understand the frustration here, and I'll just keep playing this video and see what else he's got to say.
totally reckless, and we're still yet to hear the Albanese Labor government explain the reason for this. Why are they allowing this to happen?
Yeah, I don't know the reason the Albanese government. I don't know their actual immigration policy, but certainly it is a bit of a hot topic, more so on the cost of living and the current housing crisis.
Spare bedroom tax. What an absolute farce. These morons in the federal government now want to consider bringing in a spare bedroom tax.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most ridiculous taxes I've ever heard. We've obviously got the unrealised capital gains tax coming in for super funds over 3 million, and we all know that's only going to affect a small portion of the population at the moment, but as time goes on, that will certainly capture more and more of the Australian population as balances grow. But certainly a spare bedroom tax is probably the most ridiculous one I've ever heard. Just quickly, guys, if you're a busy professional, fed up with traditional super funds and overwhelmed by the setup of your SMSF, we can help. Book in a call with my team using the link in the show notes and let's build your future on your terms. Now, back to the episode.
Hey Chris, can I buy crypto out of my self-managed super fund?
If you want to buy crypto out of your self-managed super fund, that's certainly something you can do. It seems like a good strategy because in a self-managed super fund, crypto is just a nice little asset class to think about. I tend to think it's a bit more of a long-term thing as well.
Certainly, you can buy crypto using your SMSF. You just need to make sure when you are establishing the SMSF and you are setting up the account with the exchange that the name of the account with the exchange that you're setting up with is in the name of your SMSF. So you want to make sure it's established in the name of the SMSF and as opposed to in your own personal name. Otherwise, it'll be very difficult to prove that the super fund owns those assets. So make sure if you are purchasing crypto, just make sure you're getting some guidance with setting up the account and also obviously setting up the SMSF.
Buying a property in a trust. We're getting heaps of inquiry about this at the moment. The first thing you need to do before going down this route is speak to an accountant. Now, if you are buying a property in a trust, here's just a few of the questions you need to be asking. What's the cost of setting it up, managing it? How's the negative gearing work? Capital gains tax, land tax, and also importantly, how does the lending work? When you initially buy your property in the trust, the loan application isn't really much different to a standard investment application.
Yeah, so you can obviously purchase property in a number of different entities. Obviously, a trust being one of many, and you do need to seek some guidance before making any decisions around what entity you're going to be purchasing in. You can obviously do the same thing and purchase property through an SMSF. I guess the benefits of doing that with an SMSF over a trust is that long term, you're not going to pay any capital gains tax in retirement, or the maximum that you will pay is after 12 months is 10%. So just be mindful of what entity you're doing that you're purchasing property in, and then your advisor can tell you the benefits, the pros and cons around each different structure.
People are relying upon negative gearing to reduce their tax, which is also good if you're just getting into property for the first time. However, as you become a more serious property investor, you find that you need to shift your focus to more positive gearing as the old property pays for the new property. Good starting point, but make sure you understand that it is only just that. The way that you can increase your property wealth is by relying on real estate that actually is positively geared.
Chris is making a good point here in terms of you don't just buy property for the tax benefits. You should be buying it primarily for it to be making you money as opposed to purchasing it just for the taxation benefits. Taxation benefits should be secondary to the primary benefit, which is the property actually making you money.
If people ask me why I buy commercial over residential, it's just because I like sleeping at night. With residential, you get really small returns and you get a whole lot of headaches. When a light bulb goes out, you get a call. When the dishwasher breaks, you get a call. You don't get any of that in commercial.
Yeah, so when you're purchasing assets either inside or outside of super, property in particular, you can obviously purchase either residential, commercial or industrial. With commercial, obviously, it is a little bit more, the tenants typically pay for all of the outgoings, whereas with residential, the landlord is typically paying for all the outgoings. So they are two different beasts. So make sure you're getting some guidance around which type of property will be best suited for your particular portfolio. Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode of SMSF Insider. If you've got some comments, please drop them in the comment section below. I know you will. And if there's a specific topic you'd like us to talk about, then please feel free to share that with us in the comment section below as well. Thanks for tuning in and look forward to catching you on the next episode of SMSF Insider. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of SMSF Insider. If you got value from this, make sure you subscribe so you never miss the strategies we share to help you take control of your financial future. Find us on socials at Blue Chip SMSF or book a call with our team to see if we can help you.